Hey guys, welcome to my Evil Genius Island 1 base design video. In this video I'm going to be going over my base design on Island 1, which is the desert island from Evil Genius. I've dubbed this base Evil Lair Alpha. I just made that up. So yeah, this video is going to just be going over base design, some tips that I think may help some people when designing their base, and just some strategy that I've learned through trial and error that maybe others will find useful. I have a tendency to ramble a bit, so there's a fair warning, just in case I forget and start doing it, but I will try my best to keep this video moving along and not dwelling too much on one area. And so yeah, without further ado, let's begin the tour. My base itself, this is the main entrance. I have two entrances here, one close to the helipad, which is really nice for allowing minions safe access inside, and then I have another facing the dock for missions and grabbing briefcases, etc. And like I said, the hallway is all connected here. It's really really quick traveling for minions and guards, etc. The hall leads to two entrances. I have one main entrance here into my Hall of Death, as I like to call it. As you see, I have plenty of guards waiting for some unsuspecting agents. And then I also have another entrance here, which I'll go over these shortly. But you may notice here, in between I have a strong room filled with gold, and I have my briefcase here. And something I've learned through other YouTube videos and just playing in general is that the briefcase is indestructible. So if agents come up to here, they cannot steal it, they cannot destroy it. So the fact that I have it squeezed in tightly, you can't get behind it, this is perfectly safe, and it makes great access for minions when they run out here to grab a briefcase for buying and to put briefcase in for stealing from the world map. Yes, and I'm sure you all are admiring my stacks of gold. Believe it or not, I did not cheat to acquire all this currency. This is all from my Uber trap, which I will explain here in a second. Why don't we just do that now? So I have my two entrances. This one is a fake entrance, which leads to my Uber trap, and you can see the poor souls in there now. They don't know what to do. They're pretty tired from the constant spin cycle. So yeah, let's go over the trap in a little detail here. The trap starts with 3 key-coded doors, and the reason for having 2 is because I do not want my minions in here, because they will get sucked in, knowing them. And in order to stop that, you have a 3 key code door here, which a agent will break into, and when they break into it, they'll leave it open for I think it's like 20 seconds or so. And if I only had one door, the second that door was open, I'd have valets running in and people trying to escort these guys out of my base, because they're all pretty much non-responsive. As you can see here, their stats on their brain are very low, so they just kind of sit here and take this trap. And whoa, we're going to follow this guy for a sec. Okay. So yeah, the trap itself, you can find schematics for it. It's called the Uber trap design. Schematics can be found online, but it all has to do with putting these wind turbines here and having it so that they don't get hurt by them. The best way to do that is by having, I believe it's 9 tile spaces between the blower and the wall. So these guys will essentially come in the base here, walk through, they'll finally open this door, come in, and then they will be blown into my main trap area, where they will just circle around, and you can get an example of that here. See how they're all just kind of flailing around. And if you'll notice all the marvelous, villainous, nefarious coming up over their heads, that's all money that I've been accruing, and I actually can't make any more money. I'm don't have any more room in my strong room there, so right now I'm not making anything off this, but I already have 16 million, so I'm not hurting. As you can see, the trap itself is linked to a sensor which is off-site. You cannot put sensors in the trap because the agents will destroy it eventually. So in order to keep this thing working 100% of the time, what you do is you put a side room with a sensor and lock a freak inside who sets it off. And as you can see here, the freak, which is, we got a really bad view of it, whatever, the smarts are at 16, which is just extremely low. And so he just marches around in this area and sets off the sensor, which in turn sets off all these traps. The agents are then cycled through, and during the course of their travels through the wind turbine, they will eventually hit upon these nerve traps, which totally sap their brain stat. That leaves them basically sitting in here, and they don't leave. I guess eventually their stats regen, but for the most part they will just stay in here indefinitely, and they do not die, and they do not leave. Now if I do want to kill them for any reason, I need to clear it, or I just feel like having some fun, I have a poison gas trap here, and I can link that to my trap, and eventually it will take them out one by one. And so that's good to have in there in case you need to clear it out. And so yeah, that's essentially the Uber trap. It's pretty cool, actually, I must say. I mean, look at this thing. It's just autonomous. It does its thing, and you just don't have to worry about it. Definitely very cool trap design. I'm glad I heard about it. So that is the Uber trap, and let's just go ahead and start entering the main base now. One thing to note, in the beginning I had my main base entrance right here in the front, and agents would basically almost, I'd say 90% of the time, enter my main base instead of my Uber trap door hallway here. And it was really frustrating because I couldn't get them to come in here. They would just keep coming to my main base. So I created this hook-shaped hallway which led to the double door entrance here, thinking maybe the agents had some sort of line of sight AI programming in them. And I think I was right, because now that I have created this hook, when agents enter, they don't go here immediately. They'll continue walking this hallway, and they will pretty much always now go for the Uber trap entrance, which is pretty cool. So I rarely have to deal with agents in my base anymore. It still does happen, of course, but definitely not as much as it used to. So yeah, let's enter my base. I have two key-coded security doors here. This is just a little deterrence for agents. If they make it past the first one, they hopefully will turn around before hitting the second one. But if they make it through, I have a pretty secured hallway here, which is all on 4 key-coded security setting, which gives me a guard at every door placement. And if the agents try to break into any of these doors, I have a camera system watching their every move and alerting everyone in this hallway and those in my barracks and armory as well, which we'll get to later. One of the downsides of having security guards here is that their stats tend to lower. He might be new on duty, but yeah, this guy, for instance, has probably been here for a while. His attention stat is pretty low. So one thing I do is put a staff room here to help alleviate that deficiency in attention stats. You see, I have one of my guys training up his attention stat right now, so that's good. And yeah. Oh, one other thing, the alert status. I have him on stand down right now. When I put him on alert, they actually get stressed a bit, and their stats lower, which is not good for this hallway because they're already a little stressed as it is, standing guard for long periods of time. So I tend to keep it on stand down unless I'm really under attack. In that case, I'll go to yellow alert. So yeah, after this hallway, they enter in through here and into my armory and my freezer combined room. And well, let me just pull out here so you can see this. You notice that the very front of my base is all security. I have my Uber trap running here, and I have my security hallway here. The only thing not security related is my strong room. It takes up quite a bit of space, and it was actually kind of tricky to get this hallway to weasel in, but after a little trial and error I was able to fit everything in here pretty nicely and keep the Uber trap to the proper dimensions that it needed to be to work properly, which is cool because I do like having it there. It's fun to watch, and if I had an empty strong room I'd be raking in the money right now. So yeah, carrying on as I ramble, let's check out the armory. One thing I do regret about having to save space is that my freezer is very small, and I wish I could fit more racks. 4 is just, I would say, the minimum you should have. But you definitely, always when building a base, want your armory and your freezer close to the entrance, or wherever you're going to be picking up your agents, whether they're arrested or dead. It's good to be close, so that way you're not dragging body bags through your base and lowering stats. Now look at the armory. I have my totem, my completed totem here for stat boosting to any of the minions that walk by. Obviously I have my death cages, keep 4, which is plenty, and again, security system right here watching the cages. And then in the top corner here's my freak, which I have locked in 3 key-coded doors so that he cannot exit and no one will come in. Tricky thing about getting this guy in, actually, he will just walk by this and he won't naturally go into this door. So what I had to do, I had to build these rifle racks out and make it kind of like a wall. I had to, build it like this, put one here and then put one there, and I left this spot open, and then I put another rifle rack here. So when the freak came to go outside, I essentially just double-clicked him so he stopped, and that guy made a really funny hand gesture when I double-clicked him. Let's hold on. Okay, he's not going to do it again. That was weird. You may want to rewind that and see what he was doing. That was kind of X-rated. So yes, I double click on the freak, he would stop, and I would move a rifle rack and close him in from behind and in front. And so he was essentially trapped in this little makeshift wall of rifles, and eventually he went in here and I locked him up and sold off the rifle racks that I didn't need because everyone in my base was totally freaking out that I had just cut them off from the outside world. So yeah, that may help you guys if you're going to try this Uber trap and you need to capture your freak. You can just double click him to stall him and then kind of box him in and force him into the spot. So yeah, continuing on, let's go to my barracks. My barracks is kind of a multi-purpose barracks. I have the main barrack here, plenty of gym equipment, plenty of beds for rest. I have loot spread throughout inside, so they're pretty much always getting stat boosts. It's a really good idea to have your loot evenly spaced and in areas where minions will be, so their stats will be higher. Again, on the theme of stat boosting, I have my staff room here filled with, of course, arcade games, because what would be better than video games inside my evil base, and widescreens, of course. Archives and an infirmary here as well for the minions should they need it, and a kitchen with a double salad rack and mixing counter, which I use for torture when I need to. His stats are really low, look at that. And for security inside, I have 1 speaker. I mean, look at that coverage. That is awesome. That gets everyone. So if there's any problem out here in this hallway, everyone in the barracks is going to be coming to help, which is great because that's all I have. After this point in my base, there are no more speakers, no more security systems, so that minions that are busy working, training, researching, they don't get called and stop what they're doing. I want them to continue. So yeah. Oh, let's one last thing before we leave this area. You notice how I've created this so that it is kind of a diagonal route to the exit into my base. I did this so that the minions would kind of follow along a set path, hitting all the loot in the process, and in order to get through, they have to curl through here.